Okay guys, so in the last slide, I asked you guys to come up with a strategy to construct a line that is parallel to M and passes through C. And I told you that you can only use the constructions that you are familiar with using. We just discovered that when you have a perpendicular line that is perpendicular to one line. If it is perpendicular to another line as well, we know that those two lines have to be parallel to each other. So we're going to use this information to build our construction. So the first step is we're going to start with something that we already know how to do. We already know how to create a line, or we should know how to create a line that is perpendicular to a given line through a point outside of the line. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my compass. I'm going to put my point on C. And then whenever I put my point on C, I'm going to create a circle around C. Or you don't even have to create a full circle. If you want to create a full circle, you can. It can get confusing when you see a bunch of circles. But I'm just going to create two little arcs right here, because these two little arcs show me where that circle would intersect with this line. Now you can draw a full circle if you wish, but like I said, I just drew two arcs. Okay, so I'm going to use these two arcs, and I'm going to mark my intersection points. I'm going to mark this intersection point A. I'm going to mark this intersection point B. What we do from here is we know that C is going to be the same distance as it is from A as it is from B, because if you notice, if I had a full circle drawn around it, then CB represents the radius and CA also represents the radius of the circle, because remember, the radius is the distance from the center, which is C, to the edge, which is B or A. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to basically take this segment AB. There is a segment that exists between A and B, and we are going to take that segment and we are going to bisect it. Now, in order for us to bisect it, we have to make sure that our compass is more than halfway between A and B. And as you guys can see, I don't even need to adjust my compass because it is already more than halfway between A and B. So I'm going to draw an arc above. And like I said, you can draw a full circle if you wish, but the whole point is to find intersection points. So I'm just going to do arcs. So I have an arc above and then I have an arc below. Now I'm going to do the same thing with A. I'm going to put the point on A, and I'm going to draw an arc above, and I'm going to draw an arc below. And as you guys can see, I now have this intersection point already marked, C, just so happens to be C, and then I have this little point right here, and I'm going to label this point D. Okay, so now I have two intersection points, and we all know that in order to create a line, you need 2 points. There are obviously an infinite number of points on a line, but in order for you to connect these two, you're going to need 2 points to create one. So we're going to go ahead and use this ruler straight edge, and we are going to connect C and D. So I'm going to take C and I'm going to connect it to D. Sorry, that's a little bit off. Okay, so now I took C and I connected it to D, and we can only use constructions that we know how to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my compass again, and I don't know how to create a parallel line, but I do know that if I have this line is perpendicular to this line, well, if I have a line up here and it's also perpendicular to this line, then that means that these two lines have to be parallel. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change my perspective here. I'm gonna turn my paper, and I'm going to create a line that is also perpendicular to this line. And if they're both perpendicular to it, then the two lines have to be paralleled, like I just said. So I'm gonna take this compass and I'm going to put the point on C, and I'm going to draw a circle or arcs. Let's see, I want to adjust it so that I can mark 2 spots. So I'm going to draw an arc here, and then I'm going to draw an arc here so that it intersects here at 2 spots. And now I have two little spots that I can mark. I'm gonna label these D and E. And now I have a segment DE that I can bisect. And if we do that, we're creating a perpendicular bisector. So what I need to do is I need to make sure that I stretch my compass to where it's more than half of the segment, because you cannot bisect something unless it's more than half the length, so that you have an intersection point. So I'm going to draw an arc above and an arc below. And I'm going to do the same thing with D. I'm going to put my point on D and I'm going to draw an arc above. I'm going to draw an arc below. And as you guys can see, the whole point was just to see I have these two intersection points right here and right here. And now what I want to do is I'm going to draw a line that passes through those two intersection points. All right, so we're going to draw a line that goes through these two intersection points. Trying to make sure that it is as straight as I can get it. All right, perfect. Now we have drawn a point or a line through both of these intersection points. And as you guys can see, I'm going to label this line L. And we have succeeded. We've created a line that's parallel to M, because as you guys can see, there is a 90-degree angle here. There's a 90-degree angle here. So if both of these lines are perpendicular to the same line, then that means that these two lines have to be parallel.